11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every night at midnight Eastern. It's about 9 o'clock Pacific. For about an hour each night, we'll do 3 gun-related topics. We do different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. And we take the best of. We post it as a podcast over on iTunes and other places. So we appreciate everybody that listens to the show now, listens to us live, and has the live conversation here. And then, of course, all the people that listen to us in the future, especially those that take the time to subscribe to our channels out there, leave comments on the videos and the podcasts and things. All those interactions let us know you're out there. They also hopefully let the show get recommended to more listeners using the robots out there. So we do appreciate that effort. We got hosts, just me and Bob tonight, though. We've got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, glad to be.
And I was farting around actually paying a bill over the phone. I forgot to pay earlier in the day, and if I waited till tomorrow, it would have cost a little bit more. So thanks everybody for being patient there. And we don't know where Jimmy is. So maybe some of the old hosts are out there. Maybe they'll jump in. Otherwise, we'll just put out the shingle for a new Jimmy. We need a new Jimmy. So if you want to apply for the Jimmy job, let us know. It pays pretty good. Let's see. It's episode number 490. Oh, he didn't even want to show up on episode 499. What do you know? So it's Thursday. It's just a regular Thursday, just episode 499. When we talk about CCW, revolvers and pistols, we'll be talking about gun stuff, lockers for vehicles, and what's your next training class. We talk about all our stuff that we always talk about as well. And we usually start at the beginning here, just see if there's anything worth talking about from any of the warm-up shows tonight. Yankee had his show. Pack Daddy had a show. Didn't even hardly mention gun channels in it. I think Outlaw Hatfield had a show earlier, and Clover might actually be doing a show right now.
Yeah, Outlaw had a pretty good show.
Oh, Cycle doesn't want us to talk about the logarithm? A logarithm? I'd like to have about 5 syllables in that word. A logarithm.
Logarithm?
Anyhow, what have you been doing today?
Nothing. It's been bloody cold. I've been trying to avoid going outside.
It's crazy right here now. It gets to 80 during the day, so it's annoying because it's hot, right? And then at night, like right now, it is super cold outside. It's like really cold, so you have to wear a coat. So we're living in the actual desert times right now where it's can't figure out what it wants to be. I've been inside all day working on stuff, so don't really know what it's like outside, actually. All right, well, we'll get into the show. So I guess we'll jump right into CCW, revolvers versus pistols. I don't think I can decide, so I carry one each.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of... I mean, of course, they're both different guns, but as far as for CCW, it's whatever your preference is. Yeah.
Pretty easy going. That's our show. That's our topic.
That's the topic for today. I guess it's, hey, whatever you want. It's a problem when there's only 2 of us on here.
Yeah, and there's, I don't know, the CCW, I mean, I guess there's advantages to revolvers. They work a lot, but kind of a pain to reload. But they work all the time, so I tend to carry a revolver more than anything.
Yeah, I'd carry one if I could get a short-barreled one.
Yeah, I guess that makes a factor too, because a big revolver is kind of unwieldy.
Yeah, when you gotta have a 4 1/4 inch barrel. It's
these stuff like those big bores are just ridiculous. I don't even know why somebody'd carry one of these big giant revolvers around, trying to prove something.
You know what they say.
Compensating for something, not just on the muzzle. Well, there's your CCW topic. I guess we can dig into unlocker vehicles. Probably like that one more because we like vehicles also. So before we do, we feature one of the members over at Gun Channels every day. Today we're featuring Rick from Rick's Life Is You See It. I think that's what he calls it on Saturdays. And he's been doing that show on the regular. He started doing one on Wednesdays for the differently abled. And he was our first recipient, I guess we call it, of the sticker of the month. So Alan Anchor, one of the people on Gun Channels from California, has a business, does stickers, decals, other stuff for people's projects and businesses. And she offered to do a run of patch or run of stickers each month for Gun Channels, and figured getting them out to channel like Rick's that are doing stuff on the regular would be useful. So Connery actually made up a logo for him that spotted Rick can with a derby on it, and she made that into, she cleaned it all up, made it into a nice graphic, and then it was suitable for printing. Printed out a bunch of stickers, and they're on our way to Rick already. So there you go. You got a little something extra for being our featured member of the day.
Yeah, Rick's a cool guy. I've been in one or two of his chats.
So Cycle, thanks for jumping in, being the new Jimmy, doing the Jimmy job today. So we started out with revolvers versus pistols. You want to throw in anything on that? Or CCW?
Yeah, it's really tough because it's such a personal preference. As a fairly fat guy, I find a pistol a little easier to conceal, but there is something to be said for the fact that revolvers are simpler, and you can usually get a higher, you can usually get a larger caliber in a smaller frame, like a 357, a little bit more effective. So, it's really a tough one.
Well, I think it's kind of like shoes or belts or pants, right? Sometimes you can carry according to what's going on and what you're doing and what you're wearing. So I don't know too many people anymore that stick with, one gun CCW period, and then make it fit to all situations for them. Most people, I think, have at least a couple of options and then carry appropriately. So you got to roll for both, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I tend to pocket carry like 99.9% of the time. It's just as difficult for me to get a shirt up with the fat roll, to get a shirt up over my my 4 o'clock carry than it is for me to get it out of my pocket. So I really do kind of just use one gun all the time. The only difference is whether I'm carrying a 380 or a 9, and that's really the only big difference.
I'm all right with pocket carry, but when there's basically the same physical size for 5 shots of 357 or a bunch of shots of stupid 9mm 380, it's not even a choice anymore. I've just been carrying the 357. Yeah,
and a 9, a single stack 9, you're only going to get 6 or 7 anyway. I mean, mine is 7, 6 plus 1.
And then you got to deal with a small gun, which is just usually difficult. They're made to be small, so they're not made to shoot well. So now you've got your big fat hand on it and a little tiny slide to deal with. And I figure if you're grabbing a pocket gun, then chances are there might be something involved, like clothing or somebody physically on top of you, or a dog or whatever, wild animal, I should say, where a slide, you don't want a reciprocating slide. So I see some definite advantage in a double action revolver over any semi-auto.
Yeah, you don't want to take it out of battery. Yeah.
Right, for like actual intimate contact with adversary.
And I think Lockjaw mentioned that, if you have to shoot from in a pocket, if you want to do that, well, first of all, it's really tough to shoot from in a pocket because anybody that carries a gun in their pocket, not in a holster, there's something seriously wrong with you anyway. So I don't see a big advantage, pistol versus revolver in a pocket, because it's going to be in a sleeve, so you're not going to be able to reach the trigger anyway. But truthfully, a revolver would probably be more practical to shoot. Like if you had to shoot through a jacket pocket or something like that, odds are you could get the revolver. You might get one shot with a pistol, but it's going to jam up on you, right? It's going to stovepipe. The round isn't going to be able to get out, and you'd better off if you had a revolver in that case.
Yeah, if it's not already out of battery in your pocket.
Yeah.
So Ponnery's out there crying, snowflaking with the big boars, but there's absolutely no big boar representation in here today. So sorry, you can do. Blame it on your early crew.
Well, you could carry a 50 caliber Derringer. I don't care.
44 caliber Bulldog. Charter
Yeah.
Bulldog. They're kind of a pocket pistol.
Don't shoot it in your pocket because you set your pants on fire. But other than that, you do all right.
All right, so we'll move on to, we're about to head into gun lockers for vehicles, and I see Pants out there who, by the way, somebody was looking for you over on the lobby. But Pants was saying bolting a 50 caliber ammo can into the trunk with one of them can lockers on it. And he said he got foam for it tonight. I did that with a couple of times in vehicles already, because yeah, those things are metal. And they're super strong, just they're rigid in their shape, and they're usually you can bolt it to right to the bottom of your vehicle's trunk. They're super secure.
Yep.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wherever you bolt them, they end up being like you can wedge stuff around them and stuff. So you put them 6 inches offset from a wall or something, and you can cram like a jacket or a windbreaker in there.
Uh-oh.
No, I think he actually meant a real windbreaker.
Oh, okay. Because I don't have any of that stuff. I can't be that Jimmy tonight. Well, I use a couple of the gun vaults. I use 2 of them because I have a van and I have it's 2 captains, and a bench, and basically I wrap the steel cable around the thing that the seat clamps onto, and I have one in between the 2 middle seats and one in the back. And when I travel, I'll usually put the gun in the one in the back and the ammo in the one in the middle if I'm traveling through a state where I'm not allowed to carry. But I leave them in there all the time.
When I hear that story, I think to myself, is there anything a van can't do?
Vans are cool, man. I mean, mine's not as cool as yours, but because I have more like the soccer mom style of van, but hey, that's life. And I do the same thing in my Miata, in the trunk of my Miata. I actually loop it through through where the spare tire bolts in. So I have a place back there, but then I don't have a second one there, but I do have the one so that if I have to disarm myself, then I put that in there.
Yeah, and you could always lock your ammo in the glove compartment.
Yeah, so a lot of states don't like you to do that, but yeah, it's not technically a requirement that it be in a locked container, but it does have to be out of the reach of the people in the passenger compartment. So I'm not sure if that would carry. If you're going with FOPA, if you're going with the federal law, then it's not supposed to be available to you in the compartment. So
that's right. And a lot of glove compartments don't lock anymore.
Yeah.
Used to.
And they're plastic anyway.
Yeah, they usually have like a plastic lock, so they're hardly a real distance to anybody.
As far as I'm used to, they used a metal key and a metal lock and a metal dash.
Yeah, in the old days.
Yeah.
When you used to have an accident, you break your face against a dash.
Yeah, well, you weren't supposed to have accidents.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if Bob saw that Catch is out there on the Gun Channel side. He's been hanging out tonight. Yeah, this is our daily gun show, Catch. We've been doing this one for 499 episodes now. So same format as always. We sit here and talk. You guys listen. We watch the comments, and occasionally have a guest in, like the new Jimmy. All right, so gun lockers for vehicles. Trying to think if I've seen anything new or if I saw anything new at SHOT.
I kind of like what what NEA did with his, where he took that center console and mounted that magnet. He didn't mount the magnet. He mounted a holster in there, a Kydex holster. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Where people just take and mount a holster, then you're switching your gun out of a holster into another holster all the time.
Yeah, and that way it's not jammed up against your body and all that stuff.
Yeah, but then you could jump out of your car and forget about it.
Yes, that's true.
And just not have access to it, I guess. But I mean, what's the odds of any of that really happening? I guess we could probably have an accident. I guess that'd be the issue. If something happened, I always think about like just a flat tire, not necessarily a catastrophic accident, but just something where, you know, you have to pull over quick. Maybe you have to pull over quick because something happens in front of you. You got to jump out and take care of business. When I was driving back from California, that crazy car went from the left lane of traffic all the way over to the right shoulder, right in front of all of us. I don't know if they blew a tire or what, but you know, if I was out in the middle of nowhere and that happened, I would have wanted to stop and, you know, render aid if I had to. And you know, in that kind of situation, I wouldn't want to have to also be thinking about transferring my gun, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't real interested in one of those magnets, because I was always afraid if you really had to get on it or if you hit somebody, the inertia is going to throw the gun off the magnet. I mean, I know they're really strong and all that, but now you're talking sliding force.
Exactly. Here,
Yeah.
definitely pull that thing off. Object in motion and all that.
Oh, and DT Pfeiffer says that NEA's thing was for a vehicle gun, not his CCW. So that was in addition to CCW.
Yeah. What do you think about like having, like, if you have a center console or somewhere to stow it out of sight and then mounting a holster permanently and just leaving a gun there?
Yeah, I think that's what he was up to. I personally wouldn't do that, because if a guy breaks into your car and he sees your console is locked, anything that's locked, a guy's going to rip it open because he assumes if it locked, there's something valuable in it.
Probably. And again, those consoles are going to be pretty flimsy.
Yeah. I'd rather have him try to break the steel cable or bust the metal thing open.
So since we're talking gun lockers, I like my cop car, and always on the lookout for stuff from a cop car to put back in there. And there's different ways that they'll mount shotguns and rifles now. One of the ways is to mount them up in the air above you, so like where your dome light would be. So depending on your vehicle, consider those things. Again, if they're coming out of a cop car, you can buy those things by the dozen. Check out Craigslist for the people that literally do buy them by the dozen, buy them by the pallets, and then sell them singly on Craigslist or eBay. You can get those things for pennies on the dollar, and they open with either a hardwired button or a handcuff key, and they're super secure. I mean, they're meant for cop cars to secure rifles, and you can put them in the trunk, like on the hood of your trunk or whatever, on the inside of your trunk. So as you open it, it's right there, underneath someplace in the trunk. And again, those things are made out of metal and stuff that are going to keep all but the most determined criminal from it, or kid.
Yeah, a gun lock case is just like anything else. It's time. It's how long does it take him to get into it, and is that enough time for it to be a deterrent?
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing as 100% safe. I mean, you know, banks are safe, right? And they rob banks because that's where the money is.
Yeah, there's nothing that's theft proof. You can
Right. All you can do is slow them down.
Yeah. No, you want to slow them down enough so they go over to that next vehicle that might be easier to pick.
Softer target, easier target.
So you can just lay your gun down someplace, like wedge it between the back seat and the bottom part of the car, right? Like just wedge it in there. Just throw a windbreaker on top of it. That's the same thing as locking.
Yeah,
Right.
if they see it, they figure it's safe.
I guess we'll move along to the next topic then. It's Wednesday, so we can go into training. We could go into one of the other things we got here. I guess we could do the gun of the day while we come up with that. Let me see. I got to move stuff around on my screen here, I think.
Let's see. Gun of the day. The Intrepid.
Gun shop of the day. I got the
Oh, sorry.
Did I say gun of the day? I was thinking gun shop.
Yeah, you said gun of the day. That's why it confused us.
Next up on the Gun Show Loophole Tour, Harry's Army Surplus. This is outside of Detroit, Dearborn, Michigan. Now, for me, it was a little bit difficult to park because of the way that the street out front was sort of one way. And they have some construction going on. But once I did find the parking, I got there right in front. The parking in the back also, and a real big place. So it's been there since 1950. I just went in right as they opened. I was heading out of Detroit towards Bannerman Island in New York, and asked if it was okay to take some pictures and walk through with the camera. And they said sure, and real friendly. And you can see a lot of stuff here. So a big place, physically, but also a lot of inventory. They've got uniform stuff, they've got outdoor gear and outdoor clothing. They've got, I guess you call it workwear or current uniform stuff, but then boots and t-shirts and all the stuff you'd find in a modern surplus store, but then lots of actual surplus as well. And the kind of surplus you'd see in a shop that's been there since 1950. So it's not just your current surplus that you see in a lot of shops. Real friendly staff as well. So I'm guessing a lot of people have been to Harry's Army Surplus outside of Detroit. If you have, let us know in the comments. Curious to hear what you think of it. And stay tuned for more on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. Thanks for watching.
I'm just noticing there's a million of these shops that have these giant jungle boots. I don't know what's the deal with these giant jungle boots, where they come from. I must have seen 13 of these big boots already. So I posted this.
Collecting them.
I mean, they must have sent them out to like stores or something, or there was a special on them or something. Unless there was just giant people running around that used combat boots or that used jungle boots.
There used to be giants.
Posted this thing.
Probably more like, I don't know if you've ever been to a lot of places that sell ice cream and stuff, and a lot of them have exactly the same ice cream cone, plastic lighted sign, because somebody goes door to door to them and says, hey, how'd you like to buy an ice cream sign? Probably the same deal. Somebody probably shows up and says, hey, you sell boots? How'd you like a nice big ass display boot, you know?
Exactly. So I'm wondering if it was like the company that made the boots, like sent them out, or if, like you say, just some guy who smart said, hey, I can make money doing this. So anyway, I posted this thing only on the 29th, and it must be a pretty popular shop because a bunch of people came in here and said all kinds of stuff, the good stuff about it. So I think this was one that I got recommended. People said you definitely want to check this out when you're in the area. When we were doing the tour, you know, we have the let us know type of link there, and this is one that a bunch of people had recommended. So that's what it's all about. We do the show every day. Done it for 499 episodes so we can talk about new shops, and surplus stores are part of it. They're really cool. This one was a pretty decent one. I think I showed a picture of that jacket. I almost bought this German jacket. I probably was talking about it at the time. I thought it was a picture of it here somewhere. There we go. This German motorcycle police jacket thing was in a big size, and it was like $30. It was like nothing.
Wasn't that the one you were talking about at Tulsa?
Probably, because I really like that jacket. And you hardly ever find like German surplus that'll fit me. Like all Germans are tiny people, so I had to find it in a normal size. Anyway, that was our gun shop of the day. I think cut Bob off doing the gun of the day. I just knew that there was going to be that windbreaker in this one. So I wanted to. I was jumping the gun because I wanted to get to that windbreaker.
Oh, so you want me to do gun of the day now?
Now let's do gun shop of the day.
All right, gun of the day is the Intrepid. This is just a new one coming out.
Isn't that a space shuttle?
Well, yeah, it is too. But so this is a single shot, 12 gauge backpacking gun.
A single shot.
Single shot.
Okay.
13-inch barrel. And it's neat because when you would break it open, it'll fold all the way until it's flat. Like far more than those other ones did, those funky ones you guys got with the really long barrels. So, yeah, there it is, the Intrepid.
Am I looking at the right thing here?
Yeah, see this little short one right in the middle?
This AR-15? Oh, this little gun.
Yeah.
That's just an upper, ain't it?
No, this is a shotgun.
Oh, you're talking about the shotgun. That's illegal anyway.
No, it is not here.
Oh.
Like,
You can't have nice things like that done. 18.5 inches minimum, or it's a short barreled shotgun.
Yeah, well, this is a
It's not
13
illegal. I mean, it just has to be permitted, right?
Right.
So,
Well, this is
there's
legal,
a
not restricted.
there's some semi-auto one that must have the same name because everything's coming up on that one. I only saw this one picture of it here. But it's a single barrel.
Yeah, single barrel, single shot. Folds completely double when you break the action.
So this folds all the way down. I wish they had a folded one.
Is that the barrel release that looks like a second trigger in front of the trigger guard?
I think so.
Boy, that's kind of clunky.
Brand new. Just saw a video drop from it from Marstar, Canada. That's a big surplus art gun supplier up here.
That's a horrible design.
It was like $60. Well, it's not much different than our single break opens, except like Bob said, it's folding so that like some what do they call those things? Those survival guns.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
But, no, I just meant having that thing that hangs down like a trigger. If that's the actual break for the break action, that's
I think
it is,
unfortunately.
Protected or nothing, and that's crazy.
Well, but this isn't exactly like struggling. Like I'm going to use this single shot shotgun in some kind of fight or anything.
It's combat.
No, that's true.
But I mean, I would say it's an interesting gun if it's in like the $50 to $60 range. If it's the cost of a regular gun, that's a pretty one-trick pony there.
No, it's I think around $100 but that's Canadian, so $50-$60 American.
Oh well, then yeah, it's a no-brainer. I think that'd be fun to have as like a canoe gun or just for camping.
Yeah, I think that's what they designed it for, was something you can throw in your backpack.
Yeah,
and take it with you, and it's like I say, it's super short. Like even with the full stock and everything, it's only 26.5 inches.
Is this 12 or
12 gauge? Yep. So
yeah, I'd take one, especially for that. Right?
Yeah, it's got a decent punch, and it's 12 gauge.
I wish I could see one folded. It's probably pretty cool.
Yeah, good little camp gun, I guess.
Although as short as it is, you hardly need to fold it. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. You could, not have it folded, just have it strapped to your backpack, and it doesn't take.
This thing's got a giant wood stock. I'm guessing that's probably solid. Maybe it's got a screw like a Remington, but there's probably plenty of room in here to drill a couple of holes, with an auger or whatever, and then carry a couple of subcaliber inserts in it. Would that be legal? Shoot like a 44 Magnum out there?
No, you wouldn't be able to carry those. You could carry like subcaliber shotgun inserts, but not pistol inserts.
Well, then still, you'd be able to put one hole in it and put a 12 to 20 with a 410 to 20 inside of that. Put them in one hole, and now you'd have 3 different shotgun gauges right there.
Oh, yeah.
And you couldn't put a 22, like a 12 gauge to 22 in there?
No, they'd make that illegal for some reason.
That's an interesting one. I don't like all this on the side here. Like, oh, let's just put it on both sides in case they forget whose gun it is.
Yeah, I know.
And then there's a bunch of writing here, like, this gun can be dangerous if you point it at someone, so flip over to the other side. Like, this gun can be dangerous if you point it at someone, flip over to the other side. Continued on the other side.
But, I mean, it's pretty interesting that, coming out factory like that, that's just made.
That one I think is illegal here is because it's so short, you could just stick it right down the arm of your windbreaker.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
And that'd be bad.
Yeah, so that doesn't make it on either count because it's less than 18.5 and it's less than 28.
26, but yeah.
I thought it was 26 for rifles and 28 for shotguns.
I think that's because of the 18 and 16 part, but it's 26 for
Yeah, it's 18.5, 28, and 16 and 26.
I'm pretty sure it's 26 on both.
I'll go look it up later.
Let's see. So we could get into your next training class, or we could get into one of the other things that we've got on the daily schedule here.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about online training?
Well, I'm thinking this is like just to ask everybody what's going to be your class. I know it's kind of cold out, so you might need to wear a windbreaker at that class, but maybe we just ask the audience what is their next class going to be. I know DB Cooper and others kind of always Dano, always kind of thinking about what they might take next, budgeting for it and scheduling it.
Have you ever met anybody that took a class where they did people that pocket carried?
A class specifically for pocket carry? I've
not specifically, but I've never heard of anybody go to a class where they didn't require them to wear an in the waistband or an out of the waistband holster.
Correct, and that's mostly to facilitate safety on the range. In other words, they'll maybe describe the differences in tactics or something if you're planning on carry from the pocket, and then they'll encourage you to practice on your own someplace where you can. But it's just, as far as an instructor or coach, having to pay attention to, at least a couple of people on the line, maybe sometimes up to 5 or even more, depending on, the ratio of students to instructors. It's just a lot. And then for students who aren't yet savvy, reaching into a pocket is just a whole other level of manipulation and whatnot, dexterity that just unnecessary. Because most of the time, if you're at a basic level class, you're learning more theory and mindset than any kind of real tactic. Sometimes the classes emphasize a draw stroke, and in that case, they need everybody to start from the same place, same holster basically. But I've been to events, the Pima Pistol Club, where they do that axe match and stuff. They've got some interesting, competitions. They're not really, I don't think they're nationwide or anything, but one of them they had there was called the backup gun match. And it was years ago, so I don't know if they've still been doing it for a long time there. It was like whatever Saturday of the month, everybody showed up with just their backup guns. And it was just, I think, maybe 4 or 5 bays, 4 or 5, things to run through, stages that were all with your backup guns. So people that carried from an ankle or from a pocket had an opportunity to actually put it into practice. Like I say, that range is definitely a lot of people who practice for actual use and practicality more than just playing around. So there was actually enough people to show up to make that a popular one, and it kept going for a long time.
Huh.
It might still be going.
Well, if I was going to make a, sorry.
No, go ahead.
If I was going to make a recommendation for a, so you go out and you get you take your class for your carry permit, and you go to the range and all that stuff. My next class was a class on the mindset and the legal aspects of carry. Not a class on like drills and stuff. It was they went through the pyramid of force. They went, they talked about the laws in the state, the castle doctrine, which of course we have a modified castle doctrine. And I thought that was a very useful class to have because it really brought home the fact that, you don't just point it and pull it. There's a lot to be, to said about just you being afraid is not enough to actually put the firearm into play. And a lot of these guys, they go to the classes where they're running and gunning, and they don't get the classes that say, just remember that when you pull the trigger, your life's over, no matter whether you're right or wrong. Yeah,
it's done. And yeah, that's something that, are you talking about a class that specifically talks about the after the incident type of situations?
Before and after, yeah. It was called I think mine was called something like the attitude and mindset of the concealed carrier, and basically talked about how to think. It talked about the different condition levels, walking around, duty to retreat, stuff like that.
Interesting. So is this done by an attorney or law enforcement or just a CCW instructor? Or
yes, it was done by a combination of an attorney and actually a police officer, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, that seems like something that'd be worth taking. Is that a local thing or was that a national thing that travels?
This particular one is local, but they travel around the state. They do it 2 or 3 times a year around the state. And they have one guy that normally puts it on, and he's an ex Leo, and then he usually invites a couple of gun law attorneys to show up, and there's one or two of them in my area that show up pretty religiously, and they field the questions about the law, and he takes the questions about attitude, mindset, how the police look at it, what to worry about, stuff like that. And then they talk about details of the law. They give examples of case law, stuff like that. It's pretty decent. And then I would go take the running and gunning classes.
I would never recommend the running and gunning. I don't know what the running and gunning. I guess everybody's got their way of what they consider a running and gunning class. But the ones I've always recommended are the ones that put as much emphasis or more on the change in your life that's going to happen and the responsibility you undertake by putting on the firearm, but then at least 50-50, if not even 40-60, what happens after you pull the trigger, because that's the stuff that's been so much more relevant in my decision making and my whatever thought process going forward since those classes. And yeah, I think
you are going to get arrested and you are going to lose your firearm. That's a given.
Or at least you should expect it. I mean, it's not a given necessarily, but yeah, you should expect it.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose what state you're in makes a difference, but generally speaking, because you use the firearm, actually the firearm get given up. That is a given, because anything that's used in a shoot, they have to hold for evidence until they have a disposition. So they're taking your gun. That's all there is to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like they're pulling a permit, but they are going to take your gun.
Yeah, like I say, I would be definitely ready for that eventuality, because it'd be the rare circumstance where they don't, for sure.
And most of the time, you are going to take a trip to your jail, but you may, not go to jail, but you're going to take a trip down to the station. Whether or not you get charged, that's another question. But odds are, now they may let you, if it's very clean and it's really obvious, they might let you come down later on, which is always a good thing to do. It's always a good idea to keep your mouth shut. That's the other thing they always tell you: keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything to anybody. but it is, and that was useful stuff. I mean, it was a really useful course. It was basically how to keep yourself out of trouble by avoiding, if at all possible, and if you're going to have to, they talk about the tripod. What the hell is it? Opportunity, ability, and intent. Kind of thing. Those aren't the right three words, but those are the words that they talk about.
Right. You need the three pieces. Somebody from across the street yelling at you isn't a threat, and all the different ways that they can evaluate.
He doesn't have the ability at that point in time to do anything to you, so that knocks out that leg of the stool. And you got to have all three legs for a clean shoot.
Yeah, I think there's, like I say, there's a lot that we're brushing against. Lots of big issues, and again, it's one of those things that I think we have an opportunity these days that we haven't had in the past because of the democratization of content. In other words, anybody can pick up a camera. We were talking about it earlier in a chat. The manufacturers aren't limited to waiting for somebody who knows how to work a camera to come up to them. They can go out and find their own people that have cameras. What that means is law attorney or CCW type attorneys. It means that instructors like you're talking about that have law enforcement experience and stuff are no longer isolated. They can be part of the big conversation, and their insight can be added to the collective, and people can travel. People do travel to classes, especially when they're worthy. And we've got more and more people who are taking the time after their classes to do insightful after action reports, reviews, if they're creating their own content, as part of that, or just on their own social media platforms. And again, you're able to, there's not really a Yelp or a Angie's List for classes yet, but anybody who's really interested, like a Dano or a DB, are able to get a lot more information than they ever could in the past about some of these classes, and, waste a lot less time, money at a class, and spend some time prepping. A lot more opportunity for that.
Yep.
You mentioned that too. I think that's again one of the things we're hoping to do with this chat, with our show here, is to inspire other people who are creating content and stuff. And that's one of those things that I think there's always an opportunity for: indexing instructors, indexing or making a calendar of worthwhile training. So when you talk about tactics and whatever, there's all those classes. But when we're talking about this, we kind of turn this into what happens with the law and with the situation after the lethal force incident. Then again, there's lots and lots of stuff that could be lots and lots of light to be shown on those instructors and those classes that are out there.
Sure.
A lot of times I like to, if I'm going to one of these classrooms, you never know. Sometimes they're at a range, sometimes they're like in a classroom building. So a lot of times the air conditioning's on. I like to bring a windbreaker with me, so that way if it gets cold in there, I have something to put on.
Mm.
Sometimes at the range they want a cover garment. Windbreaker works good for that.
I guess.
Well, I guess we can move on. We missed a piece of gun history yesterday. Let me go to my phone because I guess I don't have it listed anywhere else. One that I need to spend more time researching, but it was the Militia Act in, let's see, in 1903, January 31st, 1903, Congress passed the Militia Act, or the Dick Act, replacing the Militia Act of 1792. It increased federal funding to state militia and required the state militia meet more rigorous training and equipment standards. This act is an important step towards the formation of the modern National Guard. But I think the Dick Act is the one that we always cite as the sawed-off shotgun one. Something about that. I guess I need to spend more time researching that one.
No, I thought that was part of the 38 thing, the really old one.
Well, the 34, the NFA, gave us the definitions, and I thought it was right after that in 38 that somebody said, "Oh no, I can have a sawed-off shotgun because I have them in the militia or something, or in the National Guard." And somehow I forget. Like I said, I know the Dick Act is something, but it's not one of the main ones that people usually refer to when they talk about federal laws.
Well, today in 1790, the U.S. Supreme Court convened for the very first time. On February 1st, I mean.
Today, February 1st. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a unique opportunity because it's the middle of the night like this. So depending on where you're listening from, it's the second. So we'll also be doing our Every Second Matters show tomorrow at some point. Friday. So maybe Hedge will do it. Maybe Clover will jump in. I don't know. We'll figure out when to do it tomorrow.
And today in 1861, Texas seceded from the Union, which precipitated the Civil War.
Texas. Are they ever going to make up their mind? How many times are they going to become a different country? Take it more seriously if you stick with one country for a while.
1860, oh, that was February 8th. The Second German-Danish War began in 1864.
Danishes. Those aren't even a snack cake.
Wrong kind of Danish, I guess.
1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo formally ends the Mexican War.
Oh, cool.
1901, Mexican government troops are badly beaten by the Yaqui Indians. I never heard about that one before. That seems interesting. 1939, Hungary broke relations with the Soviet Union. I get sick of them. 1939. And nothing else interesting for guns, I don't think. Anybody interesting born? No. So that was, wait, was today the day that the windbreaker was invented? Nope, different day. All right, I guess that leads us to the gun movie. So let's see. This one's from 1987. I have to go look at the something. So it's every day we try to come up with a gun-related movie, something you might not have seen in a while, or maybe you've never even seen before. So this one is called The Quick and the Dead. It's a Louis L'Amour.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Quick and the Dead, 1987. So if I think I did watch this one on the Amazon.
Sharon Stone, Russell Crowe, Gene Hackman.
No. This is a Louis L'Amour, not the bubblegum.
Was that a remake? Because it sounds about right.
No, this is a totally different movie. This one is Louis L'Amour. Am I saying that right? It's like a Western author. It's Sam Elliott. It's a different movie. The one you're talking about is like the girls or gunfighters or whatever. That's this one, The Quick and the Dead. And this one is also called The Quick and the Dead, but it's M. Elliott is this like knows what's going on guy from the Old West, and then this like naive family comes in, this lady and this husband, and then that little kid, and basically they come in. I think the brother-in-law's kind of cabin or something like that, or the brother's cabin or something like that, and this guy's, their mentor and liaison with the Indians and stuff. Sort of like a short version of Dances with Wolves. Different story.
Yeah, a more realistic one.
You seen this one, Bob?
Oh yeah, it's a good movie. Really good movie.
Pretty good. And I think it's on Amazon. So, I mean, I liked it better than the other one that you're talking about, the girl one. It's pretty good too, though.
That's got Kate Capshaw in it. She's not too bad.
No, and it's a super realistic. That guy definitely makes westerns. I mean, I guess they're stories or whatever, but they're westerns. It's all about the atmosphere and.
Oh yeah, he's classic. Yeah.
Yeah, classic western.
And if you notice,
Sam Elliott, I mean, he's great.
Look at the windbreaker he's got on, made out of like deer hide or whatever, with little tassels. That's definitely western.
I got one of those jackets.
Go buy that windbreaker. It's a real western one.
Jacket.
Well, Angelina's saying the windbreaker was first manufactured in February 1971. I don't think so. It was kind of late. They had wind before then. Let's see. So Dave is asking to ask our guest, I'm assuming that means Cycle, how he feels about having insurance coverage for using deadly force such as the U.S. Law Shield.
I have USCCA. I have their next to the top. I don't have their absolutely top one. It's the one down from that.
How many levels do they have over there?
I don't know. It's like 4.
And then, like the first version is maybe like a shot glass or a mouse, and then the top level would be the windbreaker.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about USCCA is they pay up front.
Okay, so that's sort of the thing. We could probably do another show on that. We haven't done them in a while, and it's always good for people to address it in different ways because there's different ways to interpret insurance and concepts, and of course, then people that actually experience using the companies will add their insight to it. But I think that's sort of the big difference between them, right? Is whether or not they pay you immediately, like if they start getting you out of jail, or
Yeah,
if
what kind of costs? Yeah.
or if they're there to provide financial support after the fact, which some of them are like literally insurance. Like you go take care of your business and then we help pay the bills later. Some of them are more, let's get you an attorney right away and let's get you out of jail and then let's figure out what's going on.
Yeah, some of them, if you win in court, they reimburse you, but you're out the money up front. And I don't care for. I think the NRA kind of works like that. But if you get the higher level ones, they give you a free windbreaker, so it's kind of nice.
What do you think, Bob? Do you have anything like that up in Canada?
No, because we can't carry.
Not enough people. Well, I guess nobody can carry up there, huh?
Pretty well, yeah. Supposedly we have the right to, but nobody ever gets a permit.
May issue.
Diddley's asking if Bob has a SVT 40 still.
Oh yeah, sitting in the gun safe, getting dusty.
Dave's saying his dad had a bunch of paperbacks and stuff. Yeah, I can remember seeing the Louis L'Amour books on the shelf. I never read them. I thought they were romance novels the way they looked. My grandma read them, so I figured they were romance novels. Probably would have read some. But maybe they were cool Western books.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, so I guess we're wrapping it up. We've been going for about an hour. We're right on time, it seems like. We don't have Jimmy here messing it up, screwing around. So went kind of smoothly today. Let's see. We've got episode 500 coming up tomorrow. We'll be talking about gun tech, illuminated reticles. We'll be talking about the gun biz, taking friends to gun shows. That was your topic, wasn't it, Cycle?
Say that again?
Taking friends to gun shows. Didn't you throw that topic out?
Yeah, I wondered if that would be a good way as a 2A thing, you know,
Yeah, I
getting
think
people into it.
gun shows, because I think a lot of people think, well, I guess we'll talk about it tomorrow, but a lot of people have their preconceived notions about what gun owners are. They go to a gun show and they're probably going to be taken back a little bit because there's lots of different stuff going on there.
Well, and people like to buy stuff. So, I mean, you don't have to buy a gun. You can buy there's always leather and, the guys that are selling jerky and junk like that. But, it's kind of, and there's a lot of people have collections out. So there's a little historical stuff. So pretty neat. But let's not ruin it for tomorrow. Sorry.
Yeah, you can probably get like logo branded, I don't know, clothing.
Windbreakers?
What? What now? I haven't.
Typewriters.
Like
Chicago typewriters.
All right, so you know what that sound means? It means Jimmy ain't here. We got to do it.
Oh, I can't play.
No, you can't win.
Crap.
Although
Now I see your cutting plan.
now there's no answers written anywhere though. So time to break out them keyboards and them fidget spinners or whatever it is that you use to answer these things.
Loosen up those fingers.
And I guess I need to go get the countdown clock because I got to do everything today, Jimmy. And there it is. And the question will be for today's. I'm not screen sharing, am I? Oops. We'll let the stupid ad play. They figured out that I use this countdown clock, so they started putting the ad on where I can't get rid of it. All right, so we have a question where you're going to go back into the memory, Jimmy would say, and the first person on either the gun channels or the YouTube side to correctly answer where we were on episode 403 of the Daily Gun Show. Where did we do episode 403 live from? It'd be fairly easy. Like 6 different ways to figure it out. I don't know if you guys are watching the gun channel side or the YouTube side. Tulsa, incorrect. Dano is saying Las Vegas, incorrect. Not that hard to figure it out.
I know the answer, but I can't do it. Sean Ponnery on the gun channel, the YouTube side.
He said, an answer. We're going to take that answer? I guess we'll take that answer. Yep, that's when we were at the technology branch in West Virginia of the ATF. So, yeah, very good. I think he did that by either remembering, having a photographic memory, like a lot of people like to memorize every single show for times like this, or some people use basically going over and clicking on our YouTube channel and then clicking on videos and then just scrolling back a ways. Not the way to do it, I guess. Anyway, thanks, Bonner, for doing that, for winning. And I guess even though you're in the Big Boar Club, you were dissing Big Boars earlier. Bob was, at least.
Yeah, well, that's true. So I guess, Sean, that makes you the tactical hot shot of the day. There you go.
They're saying that, did Angelina say WB before Ponnery said ATF?
I can't answer that. I was looking for ATF.
Yeah, I was looking for ATF, technology branch, technically, but anyway, that was our tactical pop quiz. We try to cram them in every once in a while, even when Jimmy ain't here, and keep the show fun for everybody. But I think
was that the place that had the container boxes?
Yeah, exactly. We were just talking about that the other day, I think, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he didn't even sneak in to check any records out.
No, I was scared. There was people walking all around. Teased it.
All right.
You know, spurging the show out there. I don't like the way he's spurging us.
Just spurging it, yeah.
So I think we talked a little bit about what we're doing tomorrow. I don't know if we should do anything else for the 500th episode or not. It is on Every Second Matters, so I don't know. Maybe we could do something fancy tomorrow. Maybe not.
Gee, that's kind of cool. It's Every Second Matters, and it's on the 500th show.
Yeah.
Like we planned it.
Smith and Wesson Boar show.
No.
Oh yeah, we could do big board tomorrow.
No.
I think it's already. Nope, it isn't.
Not what the gun of the day is going to be.
Nope, we got a different one in there. All right, so we're going to throw out there the links to the Indiegogo project we've got going for gun channels. It's their 4th anniversary, and everybody's been complaining and moaning about getting a mobile app over there. So like I keep saying, in order to do that, I got to strip down some stuff first, get it down to the bare bones, build it back up a little bit, and then turn it into a mobile app, see how everybody likes it, listen to all the complaints, and then fiddle with it. So that'll be what we're doing this month. And in order to set some time aside for that, as well as potentially other things that could take money, we're doing a bit of a fundraiser over there, doing it in such a way that we can help people with their logos if they're interested in that. If they want to take them over to a place like Owl and Anchor and get them turned into stickers or decals, or if you want to turn them into a flag or something cool she makes over there, we can help you doing that in a live chat, like we've done with Heavy and Knives and Moon in the past. It looks like we've already got a couple people jumping in on the cards, and one person is already getting their own card. We'll be working throughout the month to put together the trading cards for gun channels. We'll probably schedule some live shows throughout the month here to plan the deck and plan how we're going to do them. I guess the big debate will be, do we do them like trading cards like baseball cards, or do we do it like something like Magic the Gathering where we can maybe play some kind of game with them or something? And I think both ways might be neat. Anyway, we'll be playing around with that more. But tomorrow we'll be focusing on things that have the number 500 in them. So that should be pretty fun. I think Jimmy's going to be around tomorrow to do early watch, or at least Pawnery will be there to do it. Then there'll be various live chats throughout the day. I want to thank our hosts for that. Knives, Pants, Pink, and Pawnery have all participated in that. Anyone's welcome to, of course. Friday, we probably have Jesmala tomorrow, I think. Budget is taking some time off for the family stuff. We got Clover tomorrow and Edge. And of course, there's episode 500 where all the weekend stuff starts. Like, they got anything new coming up? Anything to plug?
Not me, other than I still need another 100 and some subs in order to hit that big 1,000 mark.
Yeah, let's get Bob 1,000. You'd think that we could all lift Bob up to 1,000 without even thinking about it. Cycle, though, you got anything coming up? Any new videos? New project?
Nothing new. I just put a couple up, so I don't have anything new in the pipe right this second.
Right on. Well, thanks for jumping in and doing the Jimmy job. Jimmy couldn't do it.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Good having you doing the Jimmy dance. Dance, Jimmy, dance.
I'll have to make recordings of the timer and the gun, huh?
Yeah.
I guess that'll do it. We can wrap it up.
All right. I guess we'll wrap it up with our quote then. So everybody knows we do a quote every day at the end of the show. Quote today is by Thomas Jefferson. Cool dude. Before that, I just want to thank everybody for watching and listening, and remind you, please give us that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, for sure, to the Day of the Gun Show, do it, because we want to get to that 1,000 subs there as well. So, and I guess on that, our quote, Thomas Jefferson. The Republican is the only form of government which is not entirely at open or secret war with the rights of mankind. Well, whether that's true or not, I like Republican. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
The guys and gals at GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.
Buy things from Dear Website.